The show is Conversation, and my name is Elizabeth. Now, a lot of times we wonder, what do we do because there is no money? How do we get money? How do we feed our family? And the very first thing that comes to mind is getting a job. Yes, especially those who want to work. Now, getting this job is not that easy. And I try to ask around for employers to find out what the problem is. And a lot of them say they actually need hands, but certain things are missing. Perhaps commitment, perhaps skills, perhaps whatever it is. I don't know. But today we intend to find out via our discussion what is happening to employability skills within Nigerians, whether it's youth, young or adults. We know just that there is a dearth of the employability skills in Nigeria. We have people to talk about this, and they'll be giving us a lot of clues on how to ensure that we revitalize our skills and get just the job that we need to feed the family. My name again is Elizabeth, and I know that Devon, okay, I know your name.
Hi Liz, it's good to be here. Hello everybody, my name is Devan Hamation, mom.
Okay.
My name is Francis Daniel Okumagba, a mentor, business strategist, life and world coach.
And I'm sure that you don't actually need a lot of introduction, because if I ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, you tell me there's money on the streets of Abuja, right?
It still flows. It still flows on the streets of the world.
All right. So we will be getting to find out the first thing you do when you're looking for formal job. It's to write your CV. And then that's the first thing they always ask you. Send your resume, send your brief, send your CV, whatever you call it. A lot of times we find out that it's not rightly done. I try to speak with some human resource people, and they actually confirm this. Let's get to join Ehi to find out. Ehi, were you able to compile what it takes to have a good CV?
It is said that one of the determining factors for a person getting a job is a well-written curriculum vitae, CV. This is because the CV serves as a first impression to potential employers. With this open cheat code, one may wonder why there are still a lot of unemployed people in a world where job opportunities abound. It is probably because the job seekers present poorly written CVs. Relevant researchers have shown that curating a proper CV requires careful planning and attention to details. Thus, it is important that anyone seeking employment knows the fundamental of creating an attractive and captivating CV. You must first understand the purpose of your CV. Next, choose the right CV format peculiar to both your background and the industry in which you are looking for employment. Then, start with a compelling header, which will include your name, professional title, contact information, and in some cases, link to your LinkedIn profile. You should note that your email address in your contact information should be formal. Therefore, rather than use, for instance, it's your babe sexy glow at gmail.com, use glowworthy555 at gmail.com. This shows your maturity and seriousness. Next step is to write a strong personal statement that highlights what you will be bringing to the organization if employed. Your personal brand must align with the company corporate brand. Thereafter, list your work experience in reverse order, accompanied by a brief description of your roles, especially accomplishment, if any, in the respective jobs you are listing. After that, write out your educational qualification and any relevant skill both hard and soft, that you might possess. Note that in highlighting your personal goals and hobbies, instead of, for example, listing gisting as a hobby, write, love to have meaningful conversations to ignite my intellect. More so, when writing about your personal goals, it should be consciously worded. For example, I would like to build myself into becoming a brand name through my contributions to the organization I work in. Finally, it is imperative that you use a readable format, and for an added advantage, add professional references that will be able to attest to your skills and ethics. With these, you are good to go.
Purchase your tracks today.
That's a detailed compilation, if you ask me. And maybe just to add a little bit to what you said. But before I say that, while that was going on, somebody joined us, and I'd like you to introduce yourself the way you are. Doc?
Okay, good morning. I am Dr. Aisha Tadaviriku. I'm the founder, CEO, Master Coach Coaching and Mentoring Hub. We train, we coach, and we consult.
Okay, and you also help people like me to find job if there's need.
Yes.
Okay. I also know that you were at one time a banker.
Yes, I was in banking before I transitioned into personal development.
Okay, that's nice. Now, we'll let you take a breather before we get you involved in the conversation. But I was just thinking, when it was going on, you and I were having a conversation, and you had your own thoughts.
Yes.
Maybe you share yours first.
Yes. I love what, the small piece that went before the conversation we're having right now, which is a guide to help young people know exactly how to craft, to have a very good idea of how to craft a CV. As somebody who has had quite extensive experience looking for work, getting work in different organizations and so on, I've had to apply for work online. I've had to apply for work physically. There was a job I applied for one time that required a handwritten application letter in 7 copies.
Wow,
and all of that.
copies.
Yes. So
you write them in 7.
The good thing is
all
this.
photocopy.
No, hang on. Left alone, I would have sat down and, because sometimes, your mind doesn't think as fast as you want it to. It was my husband that said, listen, get a black pen, do that thing, and go and make 6 photocopies and add to it. So that really helps. Anyway, I got the job that time anyway. So that said, different organizations have different ways in which they want some of these things to be presented. I would say that if you are applying online and they want you to maybe upload your CV, because there are different ways of applying online. Some portals you'll go, especially international organizations, and they have a template that they just want you to fill. That makes life much easier for you. Other organizations want you to upload your CV. If you are meant to upload your CV, please don't use one of these CVs that you go and design on Canva and add your picture and do all kinds of things. Those things are automated. It's an online system. It's an IT system that will not be able to recognize some of those things as part of what a CV should be, and it will just be discarded. It has a name, but I've forgotten what it's called. So if you are going to upload your CV online, keep it as simple as possible. Do not add any pictures. Don't add any fluff. Keep it simple. Go straight to the point and keep everything as it should be. If it's something you are giving to somebody in hard copy, and at that point you may want to touch it up if you have enough time. But for the most part, a CV is not where people really want to see your face. I would even advise you not to bother with hobbies. There's no need. Nobody is interested really in what you're doing with your spare time, as long as you're not committing crime. If it's not highly relevant,
it actually helps to know the kind of job you're seeking for, so that you know what they may be asking you.
Of course, you must know what you're applying for. That's why you're applying for it.
That's
so, but I am saying that your hobby is it's something you can leave out. You don't need to put it, especially if it's not something that's very relevant to the job you're applying for. So that's the only thing I want to add. I think it was a very good feature, and I hope that people learn from it.
But today's generation, people are not specific about that because you have a lot of systems that can actually support them come up with CVs that they want. But CVs are attached to the industry that you want to apply for. The AI, for instance, has come up with a lot of means that you can actually use to prepare your CV. But when those AI give you the CV, you have to edit it yourself,
Which is what she's
to
saying.
get it to what you really want to
Yeah, I
project.
specified not using Canva, which is meant for graphic design, for CVs. I'm not saying don't use AI. And if you're going to use AI, please don't be silly. AI is meant to help you save time. It's meant to help you generate stuff that is at least grammar friendly.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling with English language, for instance, by all means, you have to go there and write everything you want, and then it will help you to order it properly and give you good grammar and all of that. That said, if you now wind up in a job where you have to write a lot of reports and you don't know how to write reports because even your CV was generated for you by AI, it becomes a problem. So be careful how you use AI.
You know, I will talk about this thing too when we get into the program. I want to just point out something before I move straight to Mr. Francis. The part of the contact which was mentioned, the email and stuff like that, I think that a lot of people should be able to provide email address or a social media handle that is functional. Apart from just giving it a good name, make sure it's functional. If you're also given a phone number, make sure it's a line that is alive, not the one you go out and you switch off at certain hours of the day, or you switch off when you feel like, okay, you're looking for a job, your phone should
I'm
be
sorry,
on.
I'll interject at this point.
Okay.
I'm very sorry. I'm going to give everybody, because I've had the opportunity of hiring people before. If you are not specifically asked for your social media handle, don't include it.
Okay.
And if you know that you're the kind of person who goes online and spends a lot of time there insulting people, especially people in office, politics, this, that, and the other, the day you feel like, oh my God, things are really difficult, I need to go and apply for a job, you are in this party and you want to go and apply for a job in the other party, go to your social media handles and sanitize it. All that rubbish you put, delete everything.
You might delete. Some other persons will
It
still
is
keep
true.
it.
There are
Some
people who,
yes,
the
they'll
minute you
keep
put
it.
that rubbish up,
They
screenshot it. I know that when the past administration, was in place, that was an APC government, a number of people from certain opposing parties that used to spend a lot of time on Twitter, particularly, insulting the president, his family, and all this, they got juicy appointments. And people brought out screenshots, are like, no, it's not happening. We've been supporting this party since forever. And then you wake up and there's a juicy appointment and you hand it to the person who's been insulting you for the last 6 years. No. And they lost those jobs. So be careful. If your social media handle is not demanded, don't put. And if you find that it's demanded, go and sanitize it properly. If you're the kind of person that has been putting up pictures where you're half naked and talking about things that happen in the other room and nobody wants to employ somebody like that. Please take it from me. If you're one of these girls who believes in, you'll use your picture and take video your intimate parts and send it to boys because you think that's how you're going to hold down a husband, it's a habit you need to ditch, because if you get a job and that kind of video comes out, I don't know what's happening in Oyibo people's country. In Nigeria, if they know that kind of video exists, me personally, I'm not hiring you. I don't know for that people. If you're already employed and that video comes out, the chances of you being sacked is very high.
Okay.
I think people should be very careful what they put on the social media, especially with young people these days, because you will be investigated based on what you have put there years ago.
Exactly. And there are organizations, especially international organizations, that get suspicious if you don't have a social media handle.
True. In addition to that, I want to add that even if you do not put your social media account on your CV,
they will look for it.
Organizations will look for it.
That's why I said if they don't ask, don't put. If they ask, you
even when
no
you
choice.
go for visas these days, they actually go to your social media handles and search you out. I've seen it happen.
So
somebody mentioned even just yesterday, I heard, I don't know how real it is, that certain network blocked some people's lines, and it's because those lines were found trading something, some things that are not very okay. So it's important. It's democracy, but how how free it is, for you to really use to insult people, to do, sell things that are not really you. So, but going back to the discussion of the day, I'd like to know, Mr. Francis, I know you do a lot of trainings for young people and actually help them to also get connected to jobs and get connected to themselves. So I'd like to know, what is that big elephant that is inhibiting us from getting the job?
First, I will tell you our education system.
Oh, wow.
Our education system does not throw out the needs of society today. And something has to be done about our education system, because the colonial master's introduction to our education system is what we are taking. The curriculum is still what it used to be 60 years ago. And if we don't do something about it, we might end up not actually getting people that are employable. For instance, entrepreneurship skills and digital skills are almost absent in our curriculum. I remember when I was in university, we used to have this compulsory English that they do for everybody that is in the university. What they should be doing now is actually do what the business really requires today.
Use of English.
Use of English, that's what we used to do. So if you look at the education system and what the demand is in society today, there's a mismatch. We also have the situation of young people these days and their attitude and the social media, what the social media has done to our people today. They don't think anymore. They don't have patience. And when you actually take them out of school, they are like fish out of water. You are not able to see them actually present skills that are required in the workplace today. There are jobs available, but today there is scarcity of skills to man those jobs. That's what we're experiencing today in the employment market.
Okay. Beyond that, I still want to hear from Coach Aisha. I'd like to know, in your dealing with young people, what are those things outside what he's mentioned that they find difficult to let go, and it's also disturbing them from getting jobs?
Okay. Attitude. Attitude is key. The current generation, they have a lot of leeway when it comes to discipline, and you find that it impacts on their ability to actually go through an interview, pass the interview, but beyond that, to even keep the job, because they, in most instances, feel entitled. They are not patient enough, like you mentioned, and they're not grateful enough sometimes. So I have had instances where they are in so much of a hurry to get ahead. They're not learning the job. They're instead thinking of ways to cut corners to get ahead. These are some of the things that I have observed with the younger generation when we talk about, ages, let's say, 25 downwards, when it comes to getting a job and keeping a job.
It's really serious, because at the end of the day, beyond what you said, I have found out that we just go for any job that is available, and attitude, like you say, is important, but seriousness towards the company that's employing somebody who is coming in to seek for a job in a company, and you don't even know the name of that company. It's a problem for me. You don't even know the name of maybe the apex leader in the company. It's a problem for me.
And information is so
research.
Cheap. These days, you can find it on the internet.
So you come into NTA, you're looking for a job in NTA, and I ask you, what are you doing here? You say, I'd like to do youth service. I'd like to do internship in your organization. I say, what's the name of the organization? You tell me MTA. So I'm asking you again, what did you say? You say MTA. M, not N. And then I ask you, what's the meaning of MTA? You look up, you now tell me National TV Organization. I find that really hard, because as long as I'm concerned, you're dead on arrival. So I think we should prop up our attitude. And then I like to also look at, ability to communicate. What does that role play when you're looking for
You see,
job?
how even outside communication, you see that even our young people are not actually prepared for employment. In civilized environment, for instance, while they are still in secondary school, they are doing VAC job, they are doing internship. While they're in the university, they are going for internship and all that. So at graduation, they already have experience working in different organizations. If you go to England, for instance, you see a lot of them working in McDonald's and getting the simple experience. So when they come out of university, they are ready for employment. In our own environment, it's school, 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 and after school, they have to face the labor market. And when they actually come out of the labor market, they are shocked at what they see.
Yes.
You see some people, look at the curriculum that we have in our universities today, history, politics, anthropology. I don't know how those courses are still relevant in today's world.
May I add that it is very, important for the government to look at this and overhaul the educational system. I do a lot of writings where I've said this. I have a friend that is based in Canada. She said, actually, I'm not using my master's degree. I even managed to use my first degree because a lot of them, they go through, like you said, internship programs that prepare them for the workplace. So they already have the skills. What they want is your skills. They are not interested in your certificates
Anymore. And today, if you look at the workforce today, you really don't need all those qualifications that they are churning out in universities today. So if you know the number of people that are shunned out of university and the jobs that are available, you will see that we need to do something about changing our focus. In Nigeria, for instance, the need before was education. In today's environment, it's entrepreneurship and IT skills that is more required, and we don't have focus in that area. India and China, they are doing a lot. You can't innovate without technology. Sure. And you can't do any business today because the business language today is IT. And if you don't have those basic IT skills, then how can you actually do well? And if you have the IT skills, you can actually get job anywhere in the world. Sure. You can actually have, if you have a digital marketing skill, for instance, you can be in Nigeria and be working for people in Canada, UK. For instance, to do a website in UK, for instance, it's about £1,000. We have a lot of young people, they are well trained on the IT skills. They can easily get job and offer those services to people in England, in Canada, for less. If you do websites for somebody in UK, for instance, for £300, you have a lot of people that want to engage you. Convert £300 into Naira and see what the person will earn. And we are talking about minimum wage today. So there's a lot of opportunities we have in the market today, in the employment market, that will make a lot of people employable, but they need to tweak our education system to provide those skills. IT skill and entrepreneurship skill is key in our today's environment.
Even beyond designing it alone, a lot of people who are working, maybe as entrepreneurs, I think they don't have enough time to manage their social media handles. Managing it is another thing entirely.
We don't have the skills.
Some people, young people, like you say, in Nigeria here, are doing it for even companies abroad, managing their Instagram, managing their Facebook, and all of that. And they pay them in dollars, according, they pay as they go. And one of the things I know they look out for a young girl I know that was doing that job, as I said, they needed to be honest. They needed to be trustworthy, because they are going to open themselves to you. So you will not trade information from A to B. So you're going to be reading all the things that are coming in, and you'll be smart enough to answer. The ones you don't know, you are fast enough to ask. It's a skill, but our people here rather want to engage on Twitter, engage on whatever we're engaging for the fun of it. Trading gossip, find out who is dating who is doing this and all of that. At the end of the day, the same thing you're doing, you can actually do it for money. Yeah. Okay, people are writing in. Let me quickly check this. Somebody says, good morning, people in the studio. He said he owns a fast food, and they employ people quite regularly. But at the end of the day, you find out that the people that they employ are constantly stealing. You'll be surprised that a married woman we employed recently as a cook, we caught her stealing little thing as it's Maggie here, but I'll call it seasoning, into her brazier. The fear of employing people is creeping in on us, and we're shutting down our branches because we can't always be there to manage them. The CCTVs will not even make them not to steal. I said I'm writing in from the East.
That's an unfortunate thing that we have to grapple with, because the minimum wage today that is 70,000 cannot take a lot of them home. So what we need to do more is to reorientate the mindset of our young people to see the opportunities that you have out there. I'm a mentor, and I meet a lot of young people, and when I see these young people, they complain about, they don't even want to work anymore because the salary cannot take them home. That's what they say. And there's this thing that has cropped up into Nigeria of people saying, I don't want to do a 9-to-5 job anymore. That's civil service. I want to be able to work from home. And they don't have the skills to work from home. The minimum wage is a challenge.
They don't even have the
today's
facility.
Eligibility for employment. A lot of the young people don't see working in organizations that will pay them 70,000 and live with it because it is not a living wage. So what we need to do in Nigeria significantly is to reorientate the mindset of our young people to see the opportunities that we have in our environment. Money is on the street in Nigeria. We need to open the eyes of our young people to start seeing how they can actually create a lot more jobs because we don't have enough jobs.
I need to address this issue of theft. It's very common. If you ask the typical business owner in Nigeria that is doing well, if you go to many Nigeria-owned businesses, you'll find that they are heavily staffed by non-Nigerians. It's because the owner of the business learned their lesson the hard way. We need to reorientate our people. That something happened to our value system in the 80s. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. And unfortunately, our justice system is not helping. Let me explain. If day in, day out, when I'm looking at the news, whether on social media, on TV, oh, like just in the last 1 week, it's been trending that the managing director of a certain bank has made off with 40 billion naira.
It's crazy.
Or is it dollars or what? I don't know, Sha. I just remember that it's 40 billion. I blanked out, so I don't even remember which denomination it was. You understand? Now, in the case of this person, the person has fled the country. But every day, we hear about people we should ordinarily respect.
Stealing.
People with gray hair that were holding positions of authority. They make off with huge sums of money. We see them being dragged from this court to the next, to the next, to the next, and then things suddenly go quiet. And it's not small money. It's usually amounts that can rejig an entire state, if not an entire region. And one person takes that money, and it's not even a governor. So by the time you start investigating people like governors, we're talking about heads of parastatal, heads of ministries, heads of agencies, making off with huge amounts of money. And then you come back,
we don't hear
and then
anything about
nothing happens. We don't see any accountability. Yes, we see them going to court, but if somebody goes to jail, they're out in 2 years. That's if they go to jail at all.
Or
we hear that they
do,
go to
what
jail.
do they call that thing again? Plea bargain.
Or whatever. Then we see the person come out. We've been seeing their children living really large. For the most part, the children don't even live here. They're outside the country. In Nigeria, we are rewarding crime, especially crime that has to do with stealing money. You know, so if we know that we are not going to apply the necessary pecuniary measures, we may as well not even tell people that people are stealing this money. Hang on, let me land. I'm going somewhere. After they've done all this and you do the whole parade and everything, and then after a year we see the people strolling around, still living large and everything, the message you are sending to the younger generation is, it's okay. Just make sure you steal enough to sort out the right people, and you'll be fine. Because if you steal 40 billion and somebody comes to arrest you and you sort the person with 500 million, and then they take you to court and you are able to sort them with like 1 billion. And at the end of the day, maybe by the time you use like 5 billion to sort everything, you still have 35 billion. Sounds good to me.
You see, bringing what you just said now to this topic that we have today, the employability of our young people. We have created role models in Nigeria who don't do anything but make money.
Yes.
And that, if we don't do something about that, we can't change the disposition of our young people. For instance, they look up to leaders. We look up to role models that are created in society. You want to be like somebody that is successful. But when you look at a lot of the successful that we see in Nigeria are political leaders who don't do anything but make money. If you go to the north, for
Make
instance,
money or divert
the
money.
ills of society today are the ones that people look up to. Go to the north today, there's Boko Haram. Go to the south, there's kidnapping. There is people that are doing bunkering. Then all over the country, we have people that are doing yahoo yahoo. If you see what these young people do in nightclubs that are doing this yahoo yahoo, so a lot of people today see a lot of people who make money who don't do anything. So they don't see employment as attractive anymore. They see their role models as these Boko Haram people, these politicians. The most lucrative thing for them today is heels of society and political leaders. We need to change the morals that we create in our environment so that we can change the disposition of young people, because employment is not attractive to them anymore. And when they get into employment, they are so restless. The money is not enough and they are not there with you. They are there in employment, but they are working their phones to see how they can make something else. So people are no longer where they used to be, and as in get a job, I want to stick to the job and work for 5 years. I worked for 25 years in the banking industry. Look at this young generation today. They will spend 3 years in any organization. And that's the big problem for society that we need to look at.
Meanwhile, you see, I'm just building on what you've already said. We've created this extremely toxic culture where people come out of nowhere. We don't know how you built up to this stage, but you're driving a Lamborghini.
Yes.
See,
And how old are you? Exactly. How old are you? You're 28. Where have you been working now? Even NNPC and PPMCs, the people we know are working in oil are not driving Lamborghini. Which work are you doing? You say you're an actress. Okay, let's look at Nollywood. Let me come there. How is it that for the most part, very young, attractive ladies in Nollywood are jet setters? Today they're in Dubai, tomorrow they're in Canada.
How much are they paid?
Hang on, that's not the point. Let's not, they drive flashy cars, they look good. But then when it comes to the men, they can't pay hospital bills. I mean, like, you don't need to be a soothsayer to know that it can't possibly be. This person has been working in Nollywood for 30 years. You came in 3 years ago. You are hopping around the place in private jets. This person cannot pay hospital bill of 1.5 million. Please, let's.
All right, let's even go back to the employability this thing. You know, as low as a cleaner, as low as a gardener, in compounds, we have found people's places not regularly well kept. And I ask a question, why? He said, well, I do it at my own time. I said, but you can afford to pay someone. And the lady told me, no, I don't want to pay anymore. Because you pay them, they come into my house, they decide to kill me. You know? So there's lack of trust. You know, I cannot take a cleaner in my house now today because I find it's a risky job, because the person may come in tomorrow and decide that he wants to take over my place and kill me first. It's happened even here in Abuja. So there are jobs, if you ask me, and there are people who need people to work for them, but they are scared because you can't even get what you're asking for. Beyond stealing, beyond killing, there are people that tell you they need a job. You give them the job today. The next minute, they are telling you, you see, I live very far. I cannot be coming 5 days a week. You know? And you tell the person, no problem. Whenever you come, sign. Attendance. So your salary is supposed to be 70,000 minimum wage. And then you show in, you're supposed to come in 5 days a week. Meanwhile, you come in twice a week. And then I pay you by the day. You now say I'm wicked. The days you didn't come, somebody did that job. And I'm going to take that money and give to some other person. And you say you're wicked. And one thing, like Devon pointed out, we've thrown away morals, you know, in the society. When someone does not deserve a payment, and I don't give it to the person, the people around will say the person is wicked, your boss is wicked. I implore you to run my shop. And every time you come in to open my shop by 12, and then you're closing by 4. And I ask why. You say, my mom is not well. I'm losing money. Then I get somebody to assist you to run that business. I share the payment into 2. And you tell me I'm wicked.
You know what?
You know, we really need to address solutions. And the solution starts from the family, which is the smallest unit of any society.
Exactly.
Because when you look at the trend with Yahoo, people who steal, people who cut corners.
People who do
They will
runs,
tell you that they are
girls who
doing
do
it for
runs.
their family. Meanwhile, the family was surviving even before all of these ills. The family was thriving. But now the expectation is, I want to be like that other person. The grass is so green. There is haste to get to a certain level. But can we afford 3 square meals or even 2 square meals? Can we afford to attend school? You know, when I was young, we used to trek to school and come back.
And it was healthy.
It was healthy.
It was
We
healthy.
eat plenty fruits on the way. No typhoid. But these days, a little child would get a Lamborghini to take them to school.
You know what? The truth about it is that our minimum wage is not enough for people
But
to actually thrive.
in most
And
cases, I disagree.
wait now. In this program that we are now, what I want us to focus on is to let these young people know how they can create more jobs, because the jobs are not even available. Looking at the number of people that are leaving university.
How do we create
For
more
example,
jobs?
you were talking about ladies who are in the what do you call it?
Nollywood.
Traveling all over the world and all that. Look at our universities today and look at our young girls, what they wear, what they carry as bag, what they carry as phone. How do you expect those young girls want to take a job today that will pay minimum wage of 70,000?
That's why I said I disagree. It's not about the minimum wage.
It's actually about the family.
Yes.
I agree that the minimum wage is a problem, but that is not the major
That's
problem.
not the main problem.
You see,
The major problem
there is
is
not enough job.
contentment.
It's not contentment.
Greed.
Today, when you talk about contentment, we are talking about if somebody can earn a living with a minimum wage, then you shouldn't talk about contentment. Today, we need to open the eyes of our young people
To
of
multiple streams of income.
Correct.
Multiple streams of income.
When I was coming for this program, I prepared myself to actually blow out and tell this government that we need to do something about reorientating the mindset of our people.
National
There
Orientation
is-
of our young
Agency.
people.
There is so much things to do out there to make money, and they can create employment. For example, you are looking for a minimum wage of 70,000, but you can actually become an entrepreneur today and employ somebody and make 1 million naira. For example, if you put a notice out there today, if you have the right skills and you employ an IT expert, let me say a digital marketer, promise to pay the digital marketer 200,000 to 300,000 a month. Tell the digital marketer that, look, you are going to be presenting businesses, services, products to people online, to 10,000 people. Your salary is 300,000. Do you know I can turn around and put a notice that if you have your business, product or services to sell online, come to my office, pay me 50,000 naira. I will do it. If I advertise that to 10,000 people and only 100 come to the office today to meet me and they pay me 50,000 naira, I have made 5 million naira. What I will pay to this employee is 300,000 naira a month. What is the net to me? We need to open the eyes of Nigerians. A lot of people are unemployed today because they don't know. I do mentoring and I teach people how to succeed with anything they do. We need government to partner with people like us to actually enlighten people that there is money to be made in Nigeria. If you look at the skills that we have and the opportunity that we have in Nigeria, you won't believe it. Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa. There is nothing you sell in Nigeria that you cannot make 1 million naira a month. So what we need to do with this program is to begin to open the eyes of Nigerians. Tell me what you do. You can make 1 million naira doing it. We can actually show people how to employ people, they will be making money. If we show people how to employ people and they make money, then those people will start employing the unemployed people from the market, and they will be paying them more than 70,000 naira. I dare this government. If we actually do a presentation to the civil servants, many of them will resign because the salary cannot take them home. And they need to be entrepreneurs, that will be farmers, that will be doing all sorts of things in Nigeria to improve the economy. Everything we need to succeed in Nigeria is in Nigeria. Those who are talented are looking for money. Those who have money don't know what to do with the money. And those in power don't have time. We don't have any coordinator that can put people together. Do you know just bringing somebody that has a talent and bringing a product, you will make money?
See, I agree with both of you. We need to start from where, is it Aisha?
Aisha,
Sorry.
yes.
From where Aisha said, which is with adjusting the mindset right from home. I am speaking as somebody who is aware right from when I was a teenager. I had friends whose mothers used to pressure them to bring money.
Wow.
Yes.
This girl
Wow.
is a student and you are telling her to come and pay her junior school fees. Please tell me what you
They
want that
don't-
girl to do.
They don't care
And
how you make the money.
once she gets used to that mentality, my brother, this thing you are saying is a waste of time. She will hear it, it will enter here and come out of here, because she knows that when she leaves that presentation, in fact, as you are trying to exit the door, she's trying to get your complimentary card to see which guest house. No, seriously, which guest house can she come and meet you and collect that money for free? You go and look for it, no problem. Come and give her for free. She's not ready
That's
to
a
pay this
minority
rent.
position,
Until we
not
learn,
the majority.
until we learn how to get, and then our young men nowadays, teenagers, are doing rituals for money.
Yahoo Plus.
Very
It's not
few-
that they
very-
didn't
very
hear about
few of
what
them,
you are saying.
Very few of them.
It's
Many
enough
of
for
them
us to get
are
worried
not
about.
entitled to hear these things.
Hang
Their
on,
parents
hang on.
don't tell them.
Hang on.
The schools don't teach it.
Please, let me
and
get
society
somewhere.
is not presenting it.
You know, I allowed you. The number of young people, young men under the age of 25 that are involved in ritual killings, if it's 2, it's already too many. Because when I was growing up, it was very old men in their 60s that were doing those things. So you were discouraged from looking for sugar daddy. They will say, he will go and use you for ritual.
rituals.
Oh. Now, ordinary boyfriend you have that you are hoping that maybe he will marry you after university, he will take you somewhere and go and pluck your eyes out and slit your throat. What's going on? Small children. We have a very prominent international musician of Nigerian origin today that bought his mother a very expensive car as a 17-year-old and has admitted with his own mouth that he was doing Yahoo. The young men that have heard that thing will not look at the fact that today he's a musician.
We don't
They
have
will
role
look
models.
at where he started from. We don't have role
We don't
models.
have role models anymore.
Most of, even our musicians that are doing very, very well, yes, they are doing very well in music, particularly I'll focus on music. The music is good, the hits are good, they're on international stages, but look at their private lives. It's filthy. It's filthy. They
And
don't
those
have
are
the
the
kind
role
of thing
models
that
of the
you
young.
say that,
The
oh,
role
my
models
son,
we have now
model
are
yourself
wrong
after
role
this
models.
person.
We don't have role models
We don't have
now.
role models.
Yes.
And part of where it starts from is from the home.
The family.
If even your father and mother cannot do anything that your father is telling you, your mates, how old are you? 18. Yeah, your mates are this. Your mates are the ones paying their junior school fees. Your mate has changed this person's car. What do you want me to do? I'm not working. I'm a student in school.
But do you know what is happening now? You are even talking about parents. Parents are not, if you look at what is happening in society today, the social media has taken the role of parenting.
Social media is not helping either.
The children of these days don't want you to tell them what to do.
But you're still the
They-
parent.
But the parent, so you must do your part.
If you look around, you will see that parents don't even have say around their children anymore. Like before, in our time, whatever your father tells you is a law. In this generation, we negotiate with these children. You tell them, they don't want you to tell them what you want to tell them. They want you to suggest to them, not advise
I'm not
them.
talking about parents
You know-
that are trying
you know-
and failing. No, I'm
you
talking
know-
about parents that are actively pushing their kids to go and do these
Active
things, and there are
parenting.
many.
They are very few.
You know, what,
No,
you,
there are
what,
many.
what you're saying
There are
is the way you lay your bed. That's what you said. That's how you lie on it. If you started when your children were small to negotiate with them, rather than show them that you are in charge, you continue that way. But if you started early to make them understand that, as much as I understand that you have your opinion, I still have the final say. And I know better than you, because no matter how tall the okra plant grows, it can never be taller than the owner. So, but let's see if we can pay inbox is filled up. Let's see what we can take. Good morning in the studio. Please help us tell the recruiters not to bother the job seeker if they already know the person they want to employ.
You see?
They
This
should-
is mindset again. Oh. Many of them, you see them will go to the social media and start commenting on something that they did not even talk about.
You know, he said some of us even borrow money to go for the interview. At the end of the day, the job is given to the people that already have connection. This is John Paul from Area 10. John Paul, we're so sorry if you experienced that, and I'm sure they are listening. Please let Mr. Francis know that our society is civilized, okay, and he should use the word civilized society. All right. I'm sure he knew the context which he was addressing it. And good morning, distinguished discussants. The value system has lost its fundamentals. Wow. Every aspect of our lives has been monetized. So the revolution should start from the family. The nature of parenting has to be reoriented. The truth is that the ingenuity of our youths need to be channeled positively. We have very intelligent youths of digital generation, Chukura. We totally agree with you.
True.
And good morning, Saz and Mars. The idea you came up with, employing an IT expert and getting customers that should patronize you online as a long way to go if you are also an expert and can as well, okay, that's talking about what you raise capital to start with. So it's
They don't need
applauded.
capital. They don't need capital to start business. That's another thing. We need to reorientate the mindsets of our people.
Okay.
Do you know today, all you need to do is hold your phone. You can open 5 shops on your phone. Because there are people who are still thinking old school in our generation who go to open shops. They look for money to set up the shop, to stock the shop, to buy a generator, buy diesel. You don't need to do that in this generation. Take your phone. Go to 3 or 5 people that are selling something. Take the picture of what they are selling. Tell them, I will help you sell. Turn around and put it online and put your phone number that you are the one selling those items. You will make 1 million naira selling those items because you'll be able to reach out to 10,000 people. Orientation is what we need in Nigeria to open the eyes of our people. Money is on the street. I went to Warri. My brother died and I went to Warri. I wanted to do a burial. One young girl, 27-year-old girl, I saw a picture on the social media as event manager. I called her, oh, I want to do a burial ceremony in Warri. He said, everything you need, I have it. If you want the low level, the medium level, and the high level, I had it. He has taken the phone numbers of all the vendors he has met in different events. And he told me, I will provide all of them, but you pay me 20% of whatever they charge. Meanwhile, those vendors, when he talks to them, he will tell them, if I give you somebody, you give me 20%. So this young lady is online and is able to provide everything we did in that funeral, and he made over 5 million naira from the event.
Oh, wow.
Just using the social media today. So what we need to do is to really open the eyes of Nigerians.
You know, what you said actually it's true. I had an experience where last week I was looking for a particular product, you know, and I went online and tried to look for it. I saw a shop that said they had it, and I called them and I needed to buy. The girl told me it was a certain amount of money, and I was ready to buy. But then she now said, okay, I was going to get back to you. Hang on a bit. She didn't get back to me. I needed that thing badly. I had to look for the company. I don't want to call the name. The products is produced by a certain company outside Nigeria. But they had a showroom in Nigeria here in Abuja, Wuse. So I went up there to buy. I found out that they had just one left. And the difference between what the girl gave me and what I eventually bought was like 55,000, you know, and I screamed. But I got talking while they were doing my invoice. The girl told me that some people come in here, take pictures and post on internet. So when they have a buyer, they come and pick it up and sell and give them the money. But they had actually reserved that single one, you know, but they just had an issue with them. So when I called, they were going to pick up from there and give to me, but because of the issue, they couldn't access it. So it's a real thing. I was actually thinking about it. So I can go to a shop, take pictures,
and sell.
advertise, and when you want, once you're sure, I sell and get my money. It's an easy way.
You know, minimum wage again. Minimum wage is 70,000. Government cannot pay too much, cannot even increase the rate because of the available resources. But today, what we need to start telling people is that, look, you can make beyond 70,000 naira doing simple things. Be marketing manager to 3 people that have something to sell. Go to Zuba where they bring things into Abuja. Yam there is cheap. It probably will be 3,000 to 4,000. But when it gets to the market, it's 7,000 to 8,000. Just take the picture of the yam there and tell people I will help you sell. Put it on your phone instead of using it to do selfie. And put your phone number. Instead of playing in social media, advertise to 10,000 people that you sell yam. Make sure the yam you hit it 100, 50, 20, and 10. People will order for yam 50, 20. By the time you finish, just look at all the orders and get the Uber and put them and go and supply. You will make 1 million naira selling yam. The other thing is you must have employability skills. IT today. If you really have the IT skills, which is the business language of today, you don't need to look for job. Job will be looking for you. If you don't have one, become digital marketer to people all over the world. Your market is the whole world. couple the fact that Nigeria has the highest population in Africa, there's no way you will not make over ₦1 million as an IT expert today.
True.
And it's very easy to learn. True. So go out and learn those skills. Don't cry about minimum wage. Those who actually want to take minimum wage will be the weak people in the society today.
All right,
and I don't want people to look down with the minimum wage.
Okay, so good morning. Can I work as a data scientist in Nigeria? It feels like it does not exist in Nigeria. Who said? Almost every department, every person I know is looking for one way or the other of getting this thing done. So I think you can. Just open your eyes, look around, you'll find one. Good morning, says Ma. I'm grateful to hear you all from where I am. It says I'm chatting from Falomo, Lagos. Ma, sir, I'm working here and in managing someone's restaurant. And I'm doing my best to keep the shop going, but I'm doing almost all the work in the shop. I cook, I serve, I clean the shop, but the salary is very poor. For all I'm doing, I'm being paid 20K for a month. Please,
Oh
I
my
need
God.
help. I need you to address this, Mr.
Please,
President.
please, look for me. You will make $1 million and start doing that same business yourself. For all those who are employed today that have skills and you are not using it right, you can actually start selling food today without ₦1. All you need to do is look for 5 restaurants that are selling different types of food. Go to them and tell them you help them sell. Take the picture of the food and come online and put it online and get somebody to advertise to 10,000 people. You will start having orders that you cannot imagine. How can you be earning ₦20,000 a month? You have no business earning ₦20,000 a month.
And if I may come in, some of us treat some of us treat people who work for us like slaves. If you know that you desperately need help, but you don't really have the resources to pay that person, the least you can do is employ that person for like maybe 2 days, a week. You cannot tie somebody down for approximately 22 days a month. I'm assuming, or maybe 24 days. I'm assuming that Sundays are off. This person is cooking, cleaning, scrubbing. They're probably the accountant, serving, and then you're paying them ₦20,000 a month in a place like Lagos. No, now.
There are a lot of people like this listening to us today who are in employment, earning peanuts. You have no business earning under ₦150,000. If you are earning under ₦150,000, look for me. You can sell for somebody or you can help somebody that has a skill. You don't even have to have a skill to actually make money. You can employ people today in the market today and make money. Employ a gardener. Offer the gardener to do gardening in 10 premises in Metama. Charge the premises 10,000 naira. You will make ₦100,000. You will get the normal minimum wage that we had for was 30,000. Employ somebody, a gardener today, to take off those 10 premises. You will make 70,000. Now you can apply it. A gardener, give them 10 premises. He doesn't have the skills to interact with people. Interact and get people that need gardening in their compound. Look at the population that we have in Abuja, for instance. You can be in the middle today and use a talented person to make money. You can be in the middle today and sell anything, including grass in Nigeria. You will make $1 million a month. I dare people that are struggling today with what they are doing. If you know you are unemployed, come. I will show you what to do.
All right, so,
and if you are selling anything and you are not selling, it's because you are not doing IT and you are not selling online. Because if you sell anything today, our old school used to sell to 10 people in shops. If you sell online today, you'll be selling to 10,000 people. There is no way you not make $1 million and selling that item.
It's okay. Just before we go, just one word from you. Final thoughts, Aisha?
Okay, so if you are in employment, you can actually widen your net by having multiple streams of income. Look for things to do. It could even be your hobby. Like I started coaching as a hobby when I was in banking. Today, I am known globally. So monetize your hobby. You know, when I told my coach that, you see, sometimes I close from work 12 midnight. I don't have time. She said there are 166 hours in a week. Dedicate 2 hours to doing coaching and perfect it.
All right, so
and that's where we are today.
Work on your mind.
All right, so our time is up. I'll just leave it at that and tell you that no matter what you do, I will only employ somebody who has skills and attach honesty and zeal to it, positive zeal. That's the only way you get a job. Everybody wants to work with people they can trust, people they can depend on. And if you don't have those qualities, don't go knocking on anybody's door. We'll see you again next week. Bye.